All right, thanks everyone for having me. So I'm Walter from, thank you. Thank you. So it's always nice to be at Taiwan. Like people are so warm and it's great to build a community and developers here. So all right, I'm Walter from business development at BNB Chain. So yeah, there are many ways to build Web3, but I would say one of the best ways would be building on BNB Chain, right? So let's hop in. Oops, the clicker's not working. Excuse me, sorry, the clicker's not working. Now it is, now it is. All right. So our mission has always been to onboard the next billion users. I always say that billion looks like a large number, but it's actually very achievable looking at the potential of the market, right? So we have already surpassed like 3 billion market cap in Web3, and in terms of just gaming, we're 3 billion gamers. So Web3 definitely has the potential to exceed that on BNB Chain. So that has always been our vision, and we've been working towards that every day. Oh, it's not very sensitive. I need to figure out where do I point this to. Yeah, sorry. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is not working too. Or I just say next and. I press very hard. There's green light as well. Like, is it? Yeah. I'll say next. How about that? I'll say next. Yeah. So next. Yeah. Thank you. Yep. Next slide. Thank you. All right, so today we will cover four main things. So the largest chunk will be part one. We will cover on BNB Chain's ecosystem, and then we will share the activities we have at Taipei, Taiwan. Next slide, please. All right, so, it jumped. I'll just continue. Yeah, all right. So when we talk about BNB Chain, I think everyone will, figure it out, and in their heads, it's BP20, our main layer one platform, which is, we call it BSC, formerly known as Binance Smart Chain. We rebranded it to be BNB Smart Chain, so still BSC. So one of the largest DeFi, and recent years, quite a matured vertical is like Web3 gaming, and of course, all the upcoming trends like memes, DPins. I think everything that's trending on Web3 will naturally build on BNB Chain as well, because it has one of the largest user base, especially BSC, the layer one. So I think this do not need additional introductions. This is our largest layer one. So next slide, please. I would like to highlight that we do have a layer two. So leveraging on the optimistic ROP stack, we have OPBNB. So it is about 2 to 3 times faster than the layer one that we have BSC. And the gas fees are 10 times cheaper. So if you look at DebRadar's post recently, I think you can see that it is actually one of the most transacted layer 2s in 2024. And this is actually largely driven by gaming. So very interesting, because I think gamers, normally we just want to trade our assets, own our assets, not so much on the liquidity side of things. So OPBNB would be a perfect place to build games. And I think uprising AI as well, both BSC and OPBNB. Next slide, please. And yeah, the third chain on BNB Chain is BNB Greenfield. So BNB Greenfield is actually a decentralized data layer where we sort of like store information and create value where you can control data through smart contracts. All three chains uses BNB as gas, and so this adds utility, and overall, all three chains we class as BNB chain. So online when you see on Twitter and stuff, if you see any other chains, those are not the official profile. We only have BNB chain, which consists of BSC, OPBNB, and Greenfield. All right, next slide, please. So yeah, so all three, as I mentioned, they use BNB as gas, the same token as gas. So many applications can actually leverage on that to create platforms that utilizes all three chains. For example, if you're building AI, your tokens can of course be in the highest liquidity, our layer one, BSC, and any NFTs transactions, like you're collecting data and putting something on chain, sometimes where the users are not directly paying the gas fees to create interactions. Sometimes companies sponsor the gas fees to make meaningful transactions to keep track of. That can be done on OPBNB, 10 times cheaper in gas fees. And of course, the data, most applications tend to store it in maybe IPFS and so on, but you can consider Greenfield as well, so that the whole application can be neatly leveraging on the entire infra of BNB chain. But of course, applications can, typically it can just leverage on either one of the three chains. It works perfectly fine as well. And yeah, this has been how our engineers have been building up BNB chain. Next slide, please. And yeah, there's many examples of how we can use it. It's very interesting, in the Web3 industry where initially at the start, we only see DeFi. Now with the rise of many layer twos, DeFi, there's even like high frequency DeFi, where you can trade faster on layer two, And for games, initially layer ones, if you build fully on-chain games, it doesn't really work that well, but with the faster transaction fees, transaction speeds, you can actually do some fully on-chain games, which is pretty interesting if you look in the Web3 and BNB Chain ecosystem. And of course, many more using Greenfield, for example, AI as well. Using generative AI, you could mint images on the chain and keep data on Greenfield. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. All right, so for the developer support, so I'm from business development, not exactly an engineer, but I love speaking to developers because I think, at a later stage of creating the product, business development is very important, and BNB Chain has many programs to really help developers and founders bring their projects to our community. So one of it is Most Valuable Builder. So Most Valuable Builder is an incubation program, an online incubation program, which we typically do it with Binance Labs. So Binance Labs is the venture capital entity. BNB Chain is the blockchain entity. And we collaborate together to find strong projects, those that solve problems in our ecosystem, those that truly brings innovative products to our community. And these will be done in different seasons. We just ended season 8. So if you Google season 8 cohort, you can look at the projects that won and how they are being pushed further by BNB Chain and Binance Labs' incubation. And season 9, I'm very sure it will open its application this month. So do keep a lookout on our Twitter, our X, and do participate. After this hackathon, your project might have the potential. You can sign up and see how it goes from there, right? Next slide, please. And yeah, for builder grants, this is the sort of like the standard kind of grants that almost all blockchain has, but a little bit different on what BNB Chain does is that we don't really state like 100K or 10K kind of grants. We let projects, you show your proposal, you send it to us, let us know how much is required to bring what kind of deliverables, and it's really very flexible. But one thing to take note is that milestone-based is advisable. Like, you need 100K marketing, but how many people, how many users are you bringing your products to? How are they going to use your product? That kind of thing. So do highlight all these things. And then, do also, I think if you Google GitHub, if you can't find the list, let me know. Anyway, I'm Walter. You can find me on Telegram, LCL Walter, Twitter as well. You can look for me for any queries. So we do have a list where I can't share the link over here because there's no QR code, but in GitHub, we do have a page where our researchers will highlight, on BSC, on OPBNB, on Greenfield, which are the proposed projects that we're looking for, or which projects can solve what kind of problems. If your project solves that problem, means that it has high potential, right, to bring it to our community. So those kind of products will have a higher chance of getting the grants. Next slide, please. Yeah.
That's the green one.
Oh, it's working now. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, and for incentive programs is where it's another way of sort of like distributing grants, where this is strictly like result-based kind of format. So for example, we had like DA incentive program. It was running for a few months on BNB Chain this year, where new projects, when they deploy, and let's say they are able to achieve high statistics on daily active users or total value locked for DeFi programs. This is not comparative with old projects. I mean, you can't be comparing with PancakeSwap and so on, right? So for new projects, we let them sort of like compete with each other on the results, and then there will be incentives given to the project. So this way, it helps to lower the operating cost. And I think it's fair for everyone where we support the projects and the projects build well on our ecosystem. So some of the examples this year, recipients are KiloX, Kinza for DeFi, and then for Hook Protocol, World of the VPNs, Seraph, and so on, they are the ones who got it for the daily active users. Another key program to highlight is Kickstart. So Kickstart, you can see this in all our hackathons, actually. I'll touch a little bit later, where we sort of like, because there are many service providers in the Web3 world. It's very different from Web2. Like the security audits, the companies are different as well, right? Like Certic is in Web3 and so on. So we sort of put in the service providers here to provide credits for BNB Chain developers. So if you search Kickstart BNB Chain, you will look at a page where if you build on BNB Chain, you will get discounts and credits from them. and they will usually sort of sponsor, a lot of credits and discounts for our hackathons as well, which I'll touch on later. So it's really end-to-end, like BNB Chain, from your product just being built, the ideation phase with incubation programs, all the way to during deployment, result-based grants, having Kickstart program to maybe credits for your cloud system and so on, all the way to the end when you deploy. We have result-based DAU, TVL incentives, and many more. There are various different campaigns, which is very dynamic, so I can't really put it in the static slides. You have to follow our Twitter and then sign up and apply accordingly for your projects. And one key thing to highlight that BNB Chain has always put emphasis in is the security. So we have our own platform to highlight applications. We call it Debt Bay. And it's sort of like our own debt radar. It highlights all the projects across BSC, OPBNB, and Greenfield. And within that, when projects sign up and register there, they put up their smart contracts there. What it actually does is that our team will screen through the smart contracts, do some DD on the team, and it will actually flag out red alarms if we see like exploits or unclear contracts that is being deployed on BNB Chain. So this will help users, because Web3, the thing about freedom and true decentralization is that you can do great things, but criminals can do bad things as well. It's permissionless. So we have to protect users coming in, and this is our way to do so. And to highlight further, the team behind that checks this security stuff, we call it Avenger DAO, is different security audit teams, people behind it, checking the smart contracts and then flagging it on a red alarm. One way that this gets flagged out is that when you swap on PancakeSwap, if you put in a smart contract, token smart contract that is dubious and weird, right? There's actually an alert. So this is actually the API from like Avenger DAO to let let users be aware of what you are doing at BNB Chain. So this has, based on our statistics, reduced like 85% of exploits in 2023. I think 2024 that is around this figure as well. So we will continue to do this and help users on BNB Chain. So some numbers to highlight. As I mentioned, I think OPBNB, I used to say is underrated, but right now it is in fact the highest transacted layer 2. No longer underrated, but really highly used. There was a day record of 71 million transactions on OPBNB. I think it was during like the ordinals kind of thing. People were doing that on OPBNB as well. And right now, the consistent high transaction was led by gaming and social apps. So the gas fees, it can be 10 times cheaper than layer 1s. TPS has reached 10K as well. So that's like 2 to 3 times faster than our layer 1. And yeah, it's the #1 blockchain by DAU. And for BSC, the old school large community chain, it's still super important because it has one of the largest liquidity, one of the largest community. Almost everyone who starts a new trend, a new product like memes, AI, DeepIn, many will be doing it on BSC itself. So needless to say, the gas fees is competitive at 3 cents, and what it really brings the value is the large community where if your product is good, many people will use it, and I think this is the thing that we want to push, where we bring good products to the community, and then you can get your revenue streams from our community. It's fair. You give a good product, and then you have good revenue, and people get to use a strong product on Web3, on BNB Chain. And yeah, the key thing to highlight would be the 85% reduction in exploits. So this is a great thing that will continue to increase. And yeah, that's the end for the sort of like technical supports and business development supports for developers. If you are a developer and you have further queries, feel free to join our socials to check out our programs, or you can reach out to me, LCL Walter, on Telegram and Twitter. I'll be happy to share with you the links to the programs and explain to you more in a video call and so on. So now about our programs in Taipei. I think Taipei in Taiwan is truly, I really love Taipei. I think great food and great warm people around. And we have various activities here. So one of it will be 14th December, Saturday. Do check out for Connect Taipei, where proudly brought to you guys by our media sponsors, community sponsors, and reward sponsors. You can see over there. We look forward to connect with everyone in the Web3 space, be it VCs, developers, or just people checking out BNB Chain. Let's meet there. And I think there are various fun activities. Yeah, the agenda is here. So we will have dinner We will share more on BNB Chain, and there will be games involved. And oh yeah, on 8:30, I think a key thing to look out for would be that there'll be a raffle draw to have over $4,000 in rewards. And yeah, it will largely be a networking event, so we look forward to see everyone. Do reach out if you see me. Happy to connect and discuss about your project or just chat about Web3. And see you guys there, 14th December. And another event that's ongoing is that we host, if you check out our socials, we have like quarterly online hackathons at BNB Chain. But on top of that, at every like on-site major events, we do have on-site hacks as well. For example, the last one was at India, and the last one was at Bangkok, DevCon. And this time you have it at Taipei. So check out the details. You search BNB Hack Taipei. It starts today. And these are the various challenges that developers can work towards too. I think it's similar for the past 3 hackathons in DevCon 1 as well, because we do see a strategic growth in the Telegram area where BNB Chain is putting in a lot of resources to let developers build a product and connect that to BNB Chain. So Telegram and innovative trading aggregator. So DeFi is still a big thing on BNB Chain. So we look forward to more innovations in that area. The third one will be a real-world asset transaction platform. So real-world assets has a lot of applications, but I think the linkages of getting the asset on-chain is the difficulty. So we look forward for any innovations to make that happen on BNB Chain. And for this challenge, it will be specific towards real estate. And because we see a lot of products doing this, but the whole structure may not be clear yet. So we urge developers to focus on this area for challenge 3 as well. All challenges are important, just that challenge 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, just want to highlight real assets has quite strong potential. So challenge 4, we will be, DeFi again. So if you can create an asset management program on BNB Chain, feel free to look out and build on challenge 4 as well. A lot of details can be found online as well, so do search that or ping me and we can share more information. So the prizes, for the top one, you get 2,500 and 100,000 in Kickstart package. So I highlighted Kickstart earlier for people who just came in. It is where we have a group of service providers providing credits and discounts for BNB developers. So it can be in the form of Google Cloud credit. So Google Cloud recently, they wanted to work with us with 10 million worth of credits for developers. So if your project is high potential, especially in our incubation, you can get up to, if I recall, like 200K plus credits. So I think that is very valuable to run an application for like 2 to 3 years on Google Cloud. So do check that out. And yeah, MVB, Most Valuable Builder, that's our incubation program. You get a direct interview opportunity to join in and technical support from the various different Kickstart partners. The second placing, you will get 1,550K worth of Kickstart package credits. And third place, it will be $1,000. So do check this out. And this is not just it. We have another hackathon. So okay, I'll touch on the requirements for this one first. Sorry, BNB Hack Taipei. So projects have to be a new development and do not use like an old existing, for past hackathons, you just copy paste in. It has to be a new product that you developed. And it has to be deployed or connected to our chains. So OPBNB or BSC, mainnet or testnet, and it has to be transacted, the fourth point, at least twice, successfully transacted. So your product has to work on-chain. Thirdly, these are the areas that you have to share when you submit your project. There'll be fields for you to fill in, so make sure you fill it clearly, especially demo video. I just saw a tweet by CZ. He mentioned that a live demo is worth more than 1,000 pictures. So that is very true, where a wall of text cannot be compared to a live demo of how your product works. So that, I would say, I'll emphasize is a key thing to highlight in your submission. And the second last point, you need to have a tweet, follow the social instructions, tag us, use our hashtag. And if you have any questions, you can join our Discord Hackathon Support Group. I'll share the QR code later, but you can link to that via our homepage as well, bnbchain.org. We have a Discord page where our technicians, our engineers can help with technical questions regarding BNB Chain. And yeah, sharing some scoring criteria. Your contracts have to be verified, open source. make sure no exploits, and it's a fine contract. Provide open source and a detailed roadmap on after hackathon, how do you deploy this, what are the marketing strategies, and so on. Clear documentations, as I mentioned, the demo video especially. Engage with communities for feedback. Develop a clear business model. Some projects, they just say do this and they get airdrops, but you need to be clear how is your revenue model covering that. Like it has to be a proper business, right? And yeah, highlight the innovation angle. And avoid, I would say that, like I mentioned earlier, using past products or products that are developed products that have already existed for quite a while. And yeah, make sure that your project, when you claim it has this function, it is doable when you submit your project so that our engineers can verify that everything is functionable. So yeah, ensure usability, make sure it works. That's one important point. And yes, these are the Telegram. So since we're in Taipei, feel free to join our Chinese Telegram. I think on our Twitter, we have launched a Chinese Twitter as well. BNB Chain ZH, correct me if wrong, but yeah, it should be. And I think for Chinese developers, feel free to participate. So 我们欢迎中文的开发者就是加入 BNB Chain 的群。And our Discords for like I mentioned, technical support. So I'll leave it here for a while. And okay, and yeah, this is the other hackathon that we're doing. It is the online, so we do this quarterly. So let me go through this as well. It's a little bit different. So the submission date is mid-December all the way to end December. And the top projects will get the demo for our incubation program as well. We will announce the winners on 16 January next year. And winners, if you manage to get into the incubation, the period will be Q1 of 2025. We call it the ultimate battle of hacker heroes. There's a lot of information on our Twitter. Do check that out as well. And yes, the winner will get 50,000, Kickstart 300K, milestone rewards 60K, direct interviews to MVP program to be incubated by Binance Labs and BNB Chain for 1 month. And extra rewards for honorable mentions. Sometimes we see really good projects, but certain badges are so competitive, like many good projects. So we do want to reward that as well. We want to reward developers building. So there's honorable mentions, a pool of 10K, and sponsor challenge track. You can see it on our blogs where, as I mentioned earlier, I think there's a next slide on it as well. Sorry if it isn't, there isn't. Basically, there are tracks where our sponsors may want you to build maybe a DeFi asset management product or Telegram product. You can check that out on the blog. For those, they have individual prizes as well from our sponsors. And the top one for the Q4 online hackathon, the reward will be 15,000 and milestone rewards of 10,000. Second place will get 10,000 and 10,000 respectively. And third place, 5,000 and 10,000 respectively. And lastly, honorable mentions, 10K pool distributed to all projects that qualify for this. And yes, please join our community. I think it's growing every day. Our Twitter, I think it's like 3.6 right now. And we have various Telegram groups, including the Chinese one that I've shared earlier. Do join. And for myself personally, my Telegram would be LCL Walter, my Twitter as well. Happy to help from the business development aspects. And I think that's the end of what I have to share. Yep. And thank you for listening in. Happy to connect. And yeah, thank you for having me. Thanks.